Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today we have the top 10 new free-to-play Steam games of 2020. Please note that this list doesn't include well-known titles like Warframe, Dota 2 and so on, because more than likely you already know about those games. This list will only feature the latest free-to-play games that are worth checking out in 2020. And of course, before we start, make sure to go and subscribe to the channel if you want more top 10 lists on free-to-play games. Only 20% of you guys watching right now are subscribed, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and comment below what top 10 video you want me to make next. Starting off this list, we have Undefeated, a simple open world superhero game that packs a punch and is a ton of fun. The goal of this game is straightforward: fly over the open world city and use your superpowers to protect the citizens against epic bosses. While that sounds like a familiar concept, Undefeated decided not to follow the trends of a nerfed superhero. Instead, your superhero is ridiculously powerful and everything you do is flashy and epic. Now, crazily enough, this game is made by a single Japanese game student, and it's amazing how well he's captured the feeling of being an epic superhero. So make sure to go and check out this game if you're interested. Next up, we have Ironsight, the free-to-play Call of Duty-like first-person shooter, and this game is finally on Steam after months of waiting. To put it simply, Ironsight is an FPS that wears its Call of Duty influences on its sleeve, and it pulls it off fairly well. Fast-paced action, a large array of weapons, and an in-depth creator class system are solid pillars in this game, and in conjunction with the decent amount of content and rank progression, it's easy to sink in a ton of hours. On top of all of this, the lack of pay to win and easy nature to unlock weapons keeps things fresh, without needing to spend real life money. So this game has longevity and fairness, which is a big plus. With that said, Ironsight does have its problems in regards to servers and sniper balance, but these problems are not to the detriment of the overall game, with Ironsight being a quality first-person shooter that is definitely worth a try. Our next game is a little bit different, and that's Neon Beats, a unique 2D platform with rhythm-based levels, putting a twist on the genre defined by games like Geometry Dash. While simple on the surface, Neon Beats is an addicting little game with its snappy movement and sick soundtrack to boot. However, please note that this game is very quick, but for a quick game in between classes, it's absolutely perfect, especially as the game is also super easy to run. Next up, we have the Darwin Project, which is part survival game and part Battle Royale, a new twist on the Battle Royale genre. The concept is simple: 10 players are dropped into the match and have to survive the cold and fight to the death. However, there's a spicy twist where the spectators can affect the battle by giving players powers, very much akin to the Hunger Games. Gameplay wise, it's nowhere near that of Fortnite and the rest. There is no looting and you only have a bow and axe as your weapons. Instead, the focus is on crafting, where you can craft traps and arrows along with upgrading your abilities, and this results in a more skillful and tactical Battle Royale. This game has been out for quite a while, but recently it went into full release and the player base has spiked and had a quite big resurgence. So now is the perfect opportunity to go and hop in and try it if you haven't. My favourite games as a kid were Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein 3D, Duke Nukem and so on. So when I found Hellbound Survival Mode on Steam, I was very happy to see that a game like this actually exists. The concept is simple. You fight against hordes of enemies on a small island until you die, with the main emphasis being on the adrenaline rushing combat. The movement and gun mechanics are very much in line with the games of old, but it has that 2020 coat of paint that holds up really well. Basically, enemies just keep flooding at you round after round after round, you get more guns, there's lots of explosions, and overall it is a ton of fun. What else would you want? Real-time strategy is a genre that I don't feature often on my channel. However, when War Selection appeared, I got really excited, as it brings some big Age of Empires and Civilization vibes into a free-to-play package. Now, the big calling card with War Selection is the fact that up to 62 players can be in one match, which is insane and from my knowledge is something that hasn't been brought to the table before. Graphically, War Selection looks amazing as well, especially for a free-to-play game, and the gameplay is on point too, going toe-to-toe with the hard hitters in the real-time strategy genre. A game that I most definitely didn't think I would include on this list is the classic H1Z1, now known as Z1 Battle Royale. This game was one of the first Battle Royale titles that absolutely took off, with everybody buying it to experience the fast, chaotic combat and nail-biting moments. As we know, it eventually fell by the wayside, with games like PUBG and Fortnite putting it in its grave. But to the surprise of everyone, Z1 Battle Royale is rising from the grave and making a comeback in 2020. With the original developers back on board and the original mechanics back too, this game is bringing some massive nostalgic vibes, and that's awesome to see. And on top of that, everybody can play since it's free to play. Now in terms of player numbers, this game hit a 10,000 player peak in January 2020 and is now sitting around a 7,000 24-hour peak, which is awesome to see since this game is now 100% alive, so go check it out if you haven't. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have by far the most highly anticipated free-to-play release of all of last year, and that is Destiny 2. The looter RPG MMO FPS is now finally on Steam and free to play, after Bungie split from Blizzard. While Destiny 2 was a game that was originally not received quite well, Bungie has kept working tirelessly, and the product is a fantastic AAA game that is also free to play. Comparing this game to everything else on this list, the high production value shines through, not only in the intense and feature-filled gameplay, but also the beautiful graphics. Now in terms of the content, the free-to-play launch came with a massive DLC release called Shadowkeep. However, that is only for people that go and pay. But don't worry, because the first year's worth of content is included in the free-to-play edition, so if you just download the game right now on Steam and play, there is a ton of content for you, so don't worry, you're not gonna run out. Backbone Prologue is the demo of the upcoming noir-inspired detective adventure game called Backbone. This demo is a short insight into what this game is going to be, and damn, it's fantastic. Beautiful looking 2.5D pixel art with a smooth, jazzy soundtrack all adds to the atmosphere as you sniff out clues, collect evidence, interrogate witnesses, and choose which leads to follow. The gameplay has the sense of being a point-and-click adventure, but it's much more interactive, allowing you to soak up the environment and really get attached to the story. Overall, this 40 or so minute demo is truly amazing and 100% worth a try. I guarantee you'll be sucked into the story, and then when it goes and ends, that 40-minute demo goes and ends, you'll be wondering, hey, when can I go and buy the actual game? And this is from someone that doesn't really play point-and-click adventures or adventure games in general, so I have to say, go and try it out, especially if you haven't played this type of game before. Now today's honorable mention is a game that I play quite a lot of on my channel, and that is Krunker.io. Now Krunker is a free-to-play browser first-person shooter, as in if you just go to your web browser right now, type in Krunker.io, you can go and play it in Chrome, in Firefox, etc. Now as of recording, Krunker.io is not on Steam, and you might be asking, UCD, why are you including this game on this list? Well, the reason why is that Krunker.io will be put on Steam in 2020, and I'm preemptively saying this is a game you must go and check out when it's released on Steam. And yes, I am a little biased because I really do enjoy this game, but I just wanted to quickly include it because this game will be coming to Steam in 2020. Now before we get to the number 1 spot, if you guys are enjoying the video right now, then make sure to go and hit that subscribe button, as more than 80% of you guys aren't subscribed right now. But with that said, let's get right on to the number 1 spot. While yes, in the intro I did say I wouldn't be talking about popular games, I have to make an exception for the role-playing game Path of Exile, in particular Path of Exile 2. For those who have never heard about this game, Path of Exile is one of the best free-to-play games on Steam, and one of the best free-to-play games, period. It's a complete masterpiece for any Diablo fan, or any RPG fan for that matter. Now the reason why I'm talking about this game, specifically when I said I wouldn't talk about popular ones, is that Path of Exile is getting an extremely huge update in 2020 that will completely change the game forever. What will be added, you may ask? Well, it's getting a new 7-act story, a massive overhaul of the game's core mechanics, a rework of the game's classes, and a massive visual upgrade. Now, the bad news here is that the actual updates won't be ready until late 2020. However, I had to go and mention it here as Path of Exile is too good of a game not to mention. However, as a little bit of a compromise, there is going to be some very significant updates throughout the year as well. So if you haven't played Path of Exile before and you're thinking, man, I'm going to go and play this game and there's going to be no new content, there is already a ton in the game already, but there's also going to be new content coming in this year on top of this massive update. So you've just got a ton to get through, so I suggest you hop straight on it. Alright guys, that's my top 10 free-to-play Steam games for 2020. Did I miss anything? Did I get it right? Is there any other games I should have included? Tell me in the comments section below. But with that said, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, out.